template I'm ready with. This is a HTML template. So we'll see how we can just jump from HTML to PHP, PHP to HTML and all. And then we'll have the whole session with the database connection with PHP. I'm having an editor. You can use any editor. As I said, Notepad, WordPad. I'm having a PHP based editor, so I'll be using that. As I said, I'll just show you my HTML page because you need some basic HTML and JavaScript knowledge for creating the web application. So this is my HTML page. So it's plain HTML with JavaScript validation and everything. It's ready. We'll use this. This is a small book house which stores the details of many online booksellers or books and the author and the description and all. So the small website which will allow you to add your books to with inventory. So here this is all the details of the book, and this is a small form which will allow an end user to enter the details. This is an HTML file. So this will not store a data into a database. This is just to take the request or details from the end user. Now we'll have this as a target and complete today's session by creating a demo application for you. Now, as I said, you need an environment where you can execute your PHP code. Now, in my environment, I have a local environment where I have installed VAM, which you can easily download from the internet and execute it. It is an executable file. After executing, it will just set up the whole environment. You don't need to do any changes. Just execute it, start it. So I'll first start my VAM server is running. So I can have my database. I'll just open, because when you set up your local environment, it will be a local host. So you can, because I'm using VAM environment, it is allowing me to connect with my database using PHP my admin web interface. You can easily do it, connect your database using the command prompt as well. You can just go to command prompt, type cmd, run, and then you can connect to the database. But this is a GUI. It's very easy to create database out here. So I'll create my database. I'll click on databases. So it will allow me to create a database. I'll give a database name as book house right now. Okay. Now it has created a database called book house. This is just a plain database. First I need to create a table. So I'll just show you the application. What do we need? Here we are storing the details about my book. Those are the title of the book, the author name, and the description. So currently we need 3 fields, right? Now I can go to my database and I'll say create a table. Creating a table, now we need 3 columns to store the data. Here I can see there are 2 columns, so I'll say add more 2. Now here I'll be adding 4 columns. 1 column to store a unique identity or unique identification key for my table. I can give as book ID. Okay. Book ID, as the name says, we can have any alphanumeric values, but I'll take it integer out here, the default value. I'll make this ID as an auto incremented column, so I'll select this and also make a primary key. A primary key is basically later on you can use for the relationship for the foreign key and primary key relationship and create the relational database structure. But right now here I'm just creating a master book table on which I'm defining book ID as a primary key. Then we need to store other information as per our form. So I'll say title. Then we have author. Then we have description. Now these are just the name to the column. We need to define the type as well. Integer, we cannot use store title in my integer type of column, so I'll say varchar. Varchar accept maximum value is 255, but I don't think my title would be so long. I'll say 50 characters. My author name, again I can select 50, varchar. Description could be more than 50 or 100, and also I can say varchar 255 or 250, or I can have other type as well. We have long text, medium text, and binary, which is unlimited, blob. So depend on requirement, we can use what type of column we want to store the values. Now I am not making any changes to other setting of my column. I'm just don't allow them to insert the null value, so it is not allowing, and I'm keeping one column as a primary key and rest I'm just leaving as it is. So I'll just save my table. Okay, I need to provide a table name, of course. So I'll say my table name is books, which is storing the values of my each and every book. So I'll say save. Okay, it has created the table, a structure where I can store the details, which have 4 IDs, book ID, 4 columns, book ID, title, author, and description. Let's play with our form. This is a plain HTML form. You can see the index.html. Now I'll create a PHP file using this HTML code, and then we'll have a database connection, store the query into the database, retrieve the data from database. I'll use my editor. I have a PHP editor called CodeLobster. You can use any editor, PHP Designer, you have Notepad++, you can use NetBeans, whatever you want. Freely available on the site or commercial as well. I'll first open my HTML file. Now when you install, make sure when you install the WAMP, you store everything into a www folder. A www folder, wherever you install your the WAMP application, in that it will show you where the www folder it is. You can directly go to your WAMP environment and you can say www directory. So that will just load where it is installed. It is installed in my C WAMP www. Now I have created a folder out here, book house, for my application, and in which I have this index file. So I'll just open that index file. This is a plain HTML and JavaScript file, which is just having some validation and the static code. You can see all the information you see out here are the static values right now. We'll store this into the database which we have created right now. Okay, so now when I'm trying to store it, I'll first create a file for PHP. I have created a file. The beauty of the editor, it will just give you the PHP text where you could just insert the values anywhere, wherever you want. So I don't need it right now. I can just delete it, and I'm taking the whole HTML value as it is and putting into my PHP code. So let's save it. So I'm saving my file as index.php. I'm not making a single change in my HTML code right now, and my PHP page will work as it is. So local host, and I have book house and index.php. So this is a plain HTML right now, though it is in a .php file, but only the benefit of creating a PHP file is I can execute my PHP code. The beauty of the PHP code is you can embed it into HTML easily, and you can embed the HTML code in a PHP code, the HTML tags in a PHP code easily. So let's see how do we do that. Now this is my form. My form is not having any action. That means I need to define here where my data is going to go. I can just leave this as it is and it will just call the same page again and again, or I can create a different file to save the data and then do the redirect and all. So I'll just create one more file out here. So we'll say book submit. This is the file which I'm going to post the data. So I'll say file submit, and then I have to create the file submit, book submit file. So this is my PHP tag. I'll save this file as book submit.php. Okay. As we have gone through some basic overview things of PHP, like PHP tag, we are using a standard tag out here. We will be including and we will be using other functions and variables and all. Now, when you use a form in which you define the method, you have post method and get method. Now, whenever you post a data to any PHP page, you get all the values of that form by the variable array of PHP. So here I have defined the method as post. So PHP has its inbuilt array which takes the value into it, that is $_post. This is the beauty of the editors, which will help you to define the functions or list out all the functions and syntax. Now this is PHP based array. When you post any form, when you submit any form using a post method, sorry, all the values get stored into this array. And if you are using get method, it's simple $_get. This two method you can use when you're posting your form. You need to define the method out there and you can retrieve the value by this arrays. Suppose if you don't know what method is being used when your page has been called, that time you have one more method called request, array called request. You can easily access whatever is being passed using get method or post method using $_request array. Now here, because we know we are using the post method, so let's use the post method. PHP has one function called print, which is, the name says, printing the details where on the screen. So here we'll be using a print, and it has one more function called print_array. Print_r. This is basically used to print the structure of your array and object. So it will just give you the whole structure of your array, what all elements are there, what all sub-elements are there, 2 dimension, 1 dimension, and their values. So this is because $_post is an array. So I'll put it into my print_r function. Now each statement in PHP terminates with semicolon. So you make sure you finish your statement by using the semicolon, otherwise you will get an error. Now I'll just run it just to show how it prints. Okay, so here this is my PHP page, this is my environment, the WAMP environment, and this is a form which will allow me to send my book's detail or end user a book detail. So if I say submit, because I have already validated this form, it is not allowing me to post the blank values. So let's say take this books only. I'll say flywheel, and my title is this, the author of form is this, and the description of my book. Okay, now it is validated, the form is validated using jQuery. Now I'll say submit. We have defined the name of the where to post the data, the file name, and the method as well, and I'll say submit. Now you can see my all data has been posted to this page. Now the page name is booksubmit.php, and it is printing the whatever information is being passed from that to this file. It is very clumsy right now, so we can use a print pre-tag which will create or which will just print the structure in a proper manner. Okay, now if I'll see, it will print the structure in a proper manner. Like this is my array, the $post array, which has 3 elements: a title, an author, and a description. Because these names is basically what we have used in our form. So we have input, name, title. So the same name will pass to the $_post array or underscore get array. The same, whatever input name you're using, use radio button, you use file name, you use checkboxes or whatever. So that same name will get added as an element into the $post or $get array. That's the reason we are getting those title, author, and description name. If you define any other name out here, we will get same name out here. So that means we have posted the data and this file received the data. So we have data ready to store into a database. So let's see how to connect with the database and store all this information in the database and pull it out back. This is the file where we are getting our data. So we can just put a comment out here. As we have seen, we have a block comment, we have a line comment. So I'm using a block comment just to put this as a comment because we have used it. We can just remove it. You can put a single line comment to just create a query. Okay. Now here, the first thing I need to connect to my database. I can directly write here the connect statement, but always when you are using a web application, a big system, so you should have libraries of your different required functions. Like database connection is not only once we are will be doing throughout the system, so you can create a library or a package to create the database connection string or code to have the database connection. So I'll do one thing, I'll create my configuration file out here to create the database, to connect to the database and close, and also I'll just create one more file, and in which I'll say I'll create a function. As we have seen, the syntax for the function is function. The name of the function, I'll say db_connect. This is, you can give any name, the parenthesis and then the curly braces to define the block. The same way I can have function db close. I have connected, so I need to close it. Fair enough. Now I need to give my database information out here, so I'll put database server information. Okay, what all information we require? We require first of all where the database server is. So I'm just creating some variables to understand what value we are passing, why we are passing, and how it is getting connected. Then I'll have db underscore or db name. I'll be giving the values. It is not going to be blank out here. db a user, because when you're using any kind of account, you need to have username and password. The same way the user will be having password. Okay. Now server, because I'm using a local environment, I'm giving a local host, but many times when you use hosting servers, they maximum time they install the database on the same server. So you just have to use local host. That means the database is on the same server. But it's very rare case. Sometimes you get the hosting companies which give you the different database and the code base. So there you need to define the database server name, either the IP or the particular name, whatever they will provide. You will get those easily from your control panel. Sorry. Now this is the database server name. Now what database? So when we have gone to the PHP MyAdmin, we have created one database called Bookhouse and a table called Books. So we need here a database name. So database name is Bookhouse. Okay, I'm using a local environment. So my root user, my user is root. I'm not set any password. Otherwise, you can just easily give the password ABC, whatever password you set, or you will get from your control panel or your WAMP environment. The first thing what we need to do is connect to our database server. So I need a database connection identifier which will store my connection where the database is being connected and all. So I'll say MySQL _ connect, the function which we have seen in the list of database connection API provided by PHP. Now the syntax for this connection is, first I need to define a server name. I can directly have a string value out here, or I can use the variables. So I'll say $db server name. Then after I need to say a username. So whatever username I'll store into my user. Then $db password. Now this function will request to my local host to connect to a database, the available MySQL database, the username and the password, by providing the username and the password. Now, if there is any problem in connection with the database, what it does, it will just give you an error out there. So it will just stop running your program, but you will not come to know what's the problem, why it is not getting, why my script is not running or whatever. So you can have here, if it is connected, because this is the function, if MySQL database connected, then just move ahead, otherwise die. That means stop my program and print what is the problem. So could not connect to the database, the server you can say. Okay, we need to understand why it is not connecting. So you have one more function called MySQL error. So it will help you out to understand why you are not connecting. Password is wrong, database name is, server name is wrong, or password is wrong, or whatever. So this will just print you the normal MySQL error, what is the problem. Now once I have connected with my database server, then I have to connect to my database. So I'll say MySQL select database. You can define the database whenever you are firing a query, or you can do initial database setup. That's whenever I fire a query to point to this database only. So either you can have MySQL DB out here to be defined, or while calling the MySQL _ query function, you can give your database name out there as well. So I'll say my database name is, I have already defined my database name into the variable called DB name, and the identifier, that means where to find the database, so the connection which I have just connected to the server. So in this connection, please connect to this database. That's it. I've connected with the database. Now whenever you connect with the database, you need to close. This is, we are just creating a structure. This not yet been connected, because when we call this function, that time it is going to connect with the database. So to close it, we have MySQL _ close. The identifier is optional here. So whatever connection you have open, you can close it, or it will open the most recent open. It will close the most recent open connection. So you can just, either you can have this connection identifier as a global value out of all the function, and then you can use same to close it. So it will just take the identifier, otherwise it will close the most recent connection. Now let me save my file. So I'll say dbconf. That is, I can give inc php library module, the extension what I can use in PHP. So I'm just using, because I'm going to include this file, so I'll say I'm just giving the extension as inc. So dbconf, this is a db configuration. And see, you can also store these values into your setting file, so you can create your setting file differently or separately, and then include that file here and then execute. Now this is what we have created, the connection script. In our book submit, we got the values, the posted value. Now what we need to do, we need to connect to the database. So we have just created a configuration file or the library to connect with the database. So I'm going to include, first we need to call that library in our PHP code. So we have the function include require. Here I'll use require because if I'm not going to get connect with the database, I don't want to just execute my program and I want to get the error. So the require is a function name. What do you require? A file. Which file? Then you have to provide the file name. Should be same whatever you have created. Now this is require dbconf file, which has the connections for the database and close and other parameters. You can create the classes as well by using the OOPS concept, a database class, and having all their functions and the methods to connect, and the same way what we have created. But right now we have just created a function for creating the connection and then closing the connection. Now here I'll just get rid of it. We don't need it because we have already received what all informations are there posted to my page. Now here I'll say, because I want to first connect to the database and I have created a connection into dbconf5 and included the dbconf file here. So I'll say db_connect. Okay. I've opened the connection out here, so I need to close the connection. So I'll say db_close. So I have closed the connection as well. Now here, whatever information we have received, we need to pass it to the database. We already received, as you have seen on the browser. When we submit a form, it will just show what all information you have received in your page. So you can just play with that information in whichever format you want. You can save into the text file, XML file, you can save into the database. Now here we are targeting the database to connect and store the information. Now this, whatever we have done up till now was the DL language, the defining the database, defining the table, and then connection and all. Now we will be manipulating with the database. So we'll be using some of the terms from the database manipulation language, that is insert, update, delete, or whatever. Now here first we need to add this data into the table, then only we will be able to retrieve it. So I'll first create a query variable to create my query to store into the database. So I'll say insert. This is the syntax for the insertion. Insert into the database, the table name. My table name is books. Insert into the table name and then the field. So I'll say the field name first is title. Okay. Then the next field is author. You can give in any order. It's not like because we have created first title, we need to give title. You can give in any order, but whatever order you are giving the fields out here, the value should be in that order. So next is description. Okay, so the insert into table name, the fields and the values. Okay, we have already received the value, and these values are the character values or VACA values. So VACA value has to be inserted using a code, a single code or a double code. Okay. Now here, now where are my values? So first I have to store my values. I can directly use my $_post and then the element name out here. But because of be aware of the SQL injection and then prevent your data from the SQL injection, I'm going to create some variable which will just filter out the parsed data and store into it, and then I can pass those value out here. So the first is title. So I'll say title variable. We can create array as well, but I'm just creating the name specific, the values which we will be storing. So I'll say now we will be using MySQL RealScape string function, which will help you to filter out your data from the SQL injection, the quotes, the slashes and all. So what I want to filter the data which we have received from the post. Okay, this is an array. Now accessing the array is the array name and then the element name. Now here the element name is title. All three elements we receive from the post method or from the form. So this is storing a title. Same way I'll create the variables for author. So the element is author, then description, and then the description. Now I have filtered out my past values using this form and store into these variables. Now these all values I have to pass here. Now I'm assigning the values using the double quotes. Double quotes is basically search for the variables and convert the variables values and store into the other variables. So I can directly assign the name of the variable out here, $title, $author, or I can use, if I'm using a single code in at the starting only, then I can use a concat operator. Concat operator is basically connecting to a string. So my concat operator is a dot. So I'll say concat this is string with some string out here, and then is a string. So I'm going to define my other variable, that is description. So you can either directly, if it's a variable, you can directly give the variable name within your parameters or the values. Otherwise, you can just use a concat operator, and that will help you out to concat the values and create a query or whatever value you want. Now, here we have created a query, we have filtered out the details. Now we need to store into a database, so a table. So the thing is, I'll say $record set for insert statement is MySQL underscore query. Okay. Now I can directly pass my query here, or I can create a variable and pass a string variable out here. So this is the query. Now I need to see whether it has been passed or it has been executed properly or not. So we'll just see in our program if any syntax error or any error or anything it's holding to insert it. So if it is being executed, if it will execute it properly, it will just return you true value, and it will check into the conditional statement, and then we can just have the execution of the further program. Or we can say like if not, if it fails, so print something, or could not store the value, or whatever, could not store the value. I'll just write could not store the values, or the book details, or contact your system administrator, or whatever. But if it is storing a value, so I'll say print book added successfully. Okay, each and every statement has to be terminated with semicolon in PHP. Okay, now what we did, connected with the database, filter out our database, created a query, passing a query to a database which will execute, insert the value, and we will get whether it will get inserted or not, and then close it. So let's see, post is ready. This is what we have posted. So I'll just refresh the form to get the same value and execute the rest of the code. So let's see, I'll say resend book added successfully. So that means what it did is connected with the database, filtered out, insert a query into the database, and printed. Now what it is doing, it is printing. Now instead of printing, I want to go back to my home page, or so we can use one more function, PHP function. It's the header function that is basically used to redirect your page. So I'll say location, and I want to redirect it to index.php. Whenever I submit anything, it will redirect me to index.php. Let's see whether it has been stored into the table or not. So we'll just go to our database, and then I'll just say browse my table. Okay, I'll say browse my table. Here you can see the book ID 1, flywheel, Alex is the author, and very whatever blah 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 description, it has been entered. That means I have successfully connected with the database, inserted the details into the table. Now we'll see to retrieve. Now that is stored. Now we need to retrieve it. Now here in my form, in my page, the index page, I'll just go back to my page. Okay. Now there's all information inserted into the database, but this is static values up till now, because I have just created a block of HTML tag and given the default values out here. So now what we'll do, we'll populate those values from the database. Now as we have created a connection which we can use anywhere, and then which we use out here, we can use the same connection in this file as well. So I can just say the PHP tag, the standard tag I'm using here. Okay, now I need a file required, or I can say include, because if my database is not running, so at least I want that static values to be printed if my user is coming to the page. So I can just say include or require. It's all depend on your requirement. So what is the file name is dbconf.inc. Cool. Now connect to the database again. You can connect it anywhere, wherever you want, beginning of the file or in between, and then close it. I'll just close at the end of the file right now, so it will be easier you to understand. So db close started at the beginning and close at the end. Okay. Now, this is form which we posted a data, but this is the thing what we want to populate from the database. So the beauty is I can add the code anywhere in between the HTML. So I'll say here I want to add my PHP code. So I'll say PHP code to be added here. Now what do we need? First, database we have connected. Now we need to create a query to populate the data. So for which we will have the query for the select statement. Okay, so I'll say select. What do we want to select? We can just say select asterisk. Asterisk is selecting all the values from the table, but that is not a recommendable thing, because if I have 20 or 30 columns and I want to just use 2, it's unnecessary. I'm populating all into my database from the database. So I'll just say I want title. I need author. The column name has to be same what you have used into the database or the table, into the table. And then the next is description. Now these all columns I need from the table name. My table name is books. Okay, we have many more things with the SQL DML language, like order by, where clause, having and group by and all. That is all related with the database. So that is, I'm not going in depth of the details of the database. I'm just creating a query to populate the data from the database. So it will say title, author, description. From the table, I need the whatever is being added to last. I want to use a LIFO method, so that will, whatever is be added recently will get populated, come top of everything. So I'll say order by book ID. Okay, by default book ID is ascending. I want descending. That means whatever is be LIFO, so whatever is being inserted last to come first. So this is my query. The same way I have inserted a query, I need to execute this query. So before that you can have start trans, and then you execute a query and commit. Basically you use it when you are updating and you want to block the values and all. So, but here I'll directly use a record set for the select statement, and I'll say MySQL _ query. Here I'll pass the query. My query is query and select, the select query. Here you can give identifier if you are selecting with more than one database, but here I'm connecting to only one database, so I don't need to define the identifier out here for the database name. Now this has executed the query, but I need to know whether after executing, how do I get the values? So if that is being executed, okay, so now what to do? If that has been executed, then get the values, get the rows. So I can use a while method, while $rowbook, that means each book, get, where to get? From MySQL fetch object. Like as we have seen, we have object, array, row, many more ways to retrieve the data from the record set. I'm using here object, or I can use array like we use into the $_post. And here the record set name, result set. Okay, now this is what will execute, that what will do, it will just populate the data from a table, all the books name, and fetch one by one. But after fetching it, what do we need? We need to display in this format. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same HTML structure from here to here. So if anything you want to put on the screen in PHP, you are using print command. You can also use echo function, which is basically the statement to print the things. So here, and whatever you want to print, it should be in a single or double quotes. Now, the HTML tag I'm using here having the static value, so I don't want the static value. We want to populate it from the database. So I'll just get rid of all these static values. I don't want this. I want whatever is being inserted in my database to get populated out here. So here I have all the tags close. Okay, one tag I'm missing out here, so I'll say div close. So I'll just edit the text out here, the HTML tags out here to populate my data. Now, because whatever it has been fetching, we are storing into this array, the row book array. So I can fetch the values by row underscore array, row book, and that we can do it using the again concatenation operator, that is dot and the dot to again connect to the next string. So here dot and then $row book. This is an array, so I need to know the element name. So element name would be the same as our field name into the database. So here my first thing is title. Now this is the first element. The same way I'll be having the second element and the third element. Okay, I'm just correcting the HTML tag because I just copy paste it and remove some value. Okay, so here the next is author and then the next is description. So these are the values which we are connecting, populating from the database and printing on the screen. Now I'll just commit this part. Okay, so when you see the form, okay, so let's go back. This is having some static value. I'll say refresh, and this should populate the values from the database. There could be some problem that it's not populating the values. So I'll just execute my query on the database and see what error it is giving, or I can just print the error out there as well. So I'll just say, okay, there is one error from, okay. I say title, okay, here is one wrong quote. Fair enough. Now it is executed. Now let me correct my, okay, here I have used the wrong quote. Okay, let's go back to my page and refresh it. Here is the value which you have inserted into the database. I'll just add one more value which will go to the next page, store into the database and redirect back to this page. So let's take the value from our HTML page. So I'll open my HTML page out here. I'll open in a different browser so I can switch it easily. Okay, here it is. So I'll use the tiger, a true story. Let's go and store into the, use the same form. We can use, if you are aware of the JavaScript and jQuery and all, you can easily use the jQuery instead of redirecting the page and doing all these things. The author name and then the values, the description of my book. Okay, now submitting, it will get submitted to the database and redirect to the same page. Now here is the latest one on the top of the thing. So what it does is just populate the value, store into the database, and come back, redirect the page to the index page and populate the value from the database. So this is coming from the database. The same way you can populate the most popular, most recent one, and then all the other sections of your page. So this is just storing the value instead of having static value and manipulating your HTML page again and again. Then you can have just put data into the database and then populate from the database. That's it. Thank you very much. Any questions if you have?